It feels good to be in here one more time. How you doing, everybody? This is Jason. Jason's House of Fun and Video Games, bringing you today the collection Down the Rabbit Hole We Go, Volume 3. But before we get into what today's video is, because it wouldn't be a House of Fun and Video Games video unless we run off the train tracks as usual, it'll only be for a short moment. I'm trying here. Notice anything different? I have my regular gaming chair over there, computer, desktop chair, whatever you want to call it. This right here is a chair that reclines. Yes, I got a reclining chair now. Can't complain with getting something for nothing, and I'm happy with it because I was actually just catching up on. It's going to take a little getting used to. I was catching up on some Walking Dead Book of Carol, season 2 of the miniseries with it mainly on Daryl Dixon. So I've had that sitting in the DVR a long time, and I was like, well, now I can sit back, relax. It can recline and everything electronically. I don't know if you can see this, but just push the button. I don't have it plugged in now because I'm going to have to eventually move this chair around. It's funny, I made some more room to be able to get to my PS2 games and a few other things and just kind of make it less congested in here. We're doing the game room update, which, by the way, thank you for all the support on that. A lot of great comments and a lot of folks coming by and saying hi and giving some great compliments and critiques as always. And this is going to happen a lot too. I don't know why this got to happen, but we're going to do this. Regardless, I just like this little fleece thing that I got going on here, but it's going to happen a few times, so if I have to do that, it is what it is. But let's get back on track here. This is going to be a giant pain, and if you remember in that game room update, last thing before we actually get to the meat and potatoes of what we're doing here today, the nonsense table, or nonsense slash laserdisc slash vinyl, I had to move this because I had to open both of those double doors. This thing was not getting in no matter what kind of interesting craft or foolery I tried to get this big bad Larry in here with, and I moved that successfully with only, I don't know, 2 things falling. That's pretty impressive. Taking into consideration that thing moves when it's not against something heavy, it bows. I was a little nervous. I thought it was going to be the end of everything on there, but nevertheless, trying not to say that too much, I was able to get it in and able to put back my stuff with no problem. And now that you've been bored to death of my nonsense and foolery of getting this awesome, amazing seat in here, which I got to tell you, I've always wanted one in my room of Doom, my game room, man cave, whatever you want to call it. Just didn't happen to come across one, or one that made sense at the time, but this thing's amazing, awesome, and great. I will definitely put in some videos, I'm sure, throughout the conversation in regards to that, just to kind of show you, in case you missed that last video, what exactly I was talking about. But yeah, it was pretty insane, and I had to get this thing in here quick because it started raining out, and rain, electricity, ladies and gentlemen, do not mix. Not meaning this was on, but if it got wet and I plugged it into something, unfortunately I'm very familiar with the water and electricity not working too well because of previous things that have happened. Not on my account, of course, but it is what it is. What are you going to do? So what are we doing here today? We're going to look into part of the collection. And why are we deciding to look into this part of the collection? What happens to be my Star Wars collection, but not the action figures. I would have to dig those bad Larrys out of the garage that are now sitting securely and firmly in one of the many totes that I have stacked up full of nonsense, foolery, and God knows what. I got to go through it again. I go through it once or twice a year. Try to shrink it, maybe try to donate some stuff, maybe sell some stuff, and some things are just harder to get rid of, which is pretty much all my crap. But that's okay. What are you going to do? So So we're not going through that. We're going to go through my game collection of Star Wars. And as I was going through the games that I have behind you, which you can't really see too much anymore, which I don't know how this is going to work, but again, I'm just thinking out loud. I thought that I had another game, and I passed up on it a while ago. I don't know, a year or two ago, maybe 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago. I can't remember, at the thrift on this specific Star Wars game that I really liked. Got rid of. What are you going to do? It is what it is. I thought I got it on Xbox and maybe PS2, but I didn't. So now I've got something to keep an eye out for. And we've already talked about on the CLZ Games app that I don't have it up to date or whatever, and all my stuff's missing, so we're going to have to go through and catalog everything. That'd be a pretty cool video. I wouldn't bring you on that, though. I don't know. Maybe I would find it cool to find somebody cataloging stuff. That's me. Maybe it's not the whole mainstream group that I have on here on the House of Fun and Video Games, and I don't know if I'm going to torture you that bad, but I would love it. I'm not going to lie. Maybe there's something on there. Maybe I'll look at it after I get this video done. And I'm just curious because if it's not been done before and it's not on YouTube, I'd be very shocked. But we're going to get to the meat and potatoes now. Why did I choose Star Wars? Well, I finally got the missing piece of a Star Wars trilogy that I've been waiting for. I got Super Empire Strikes Back. Is it Super The Empire Strikes Back? Yeah, it is. Super The Empire Strikes Back for the Super Nintendo. Why was I so hell-bent on getting it? How do you have 1 and 3 of something and not have the second one? And as far as the movies go, if you talk to a vast selection of folks that are fans and love the Star Wars universe, not too particular kind on the newer ones, what are you going to do? We're not going to get into that whole mess. But maybe I'll include some other clips that I've had on here at some point or another with the box sets. I'm not going to break those out. Those are probably behind you somewhere. There's some over here. There's one in there. I am not digging that bad boy out. I probably could, but I'm not going to. I don't know if I've ever gone over that before. But we'll have to get to it at another point in time. So, collections. Collecting series of games. It is so difficult for me to not be able to complete a collection. And I'm not talking about let's get every NES game or every Genesis game. I know that that's not really in the cards. If I could, I'd have them all complete in box. Even the ones that I didn't like, because that would look so amazing. I'm sure there's somebody out here that does it. Out in the universe, the YouTube world. I don't know. There's got to be somebody that's done it. I've seen a lot of different ones. I don't know if I've ever looked for that in particular, but it'd be cool. Just not in the budget. It's not going to happen. And if it did, it'd be awesome. But what are you going to do? So, Star Wars, and why Super Star Wars, Super The Empire Strikes Back, and Super Return of the Jedi important to me? Well, brings me to a story, because it's story time at the House of Fun and Video Games. We're not going off the train tracks. We're simply explaining to you what we're doing here today, along with hopefully some over-the-head video to kind of take a look at some of these. As you know, what are you going to do? Got to make something up. You can't just be sitting here looking at my amazing, beautiful personality and posture and boldness. I don't know. It's late and I've been at work all day, so don't mind me if I'm falling asleep. I swear, I will not fall asleep in the middle of the video. I haven't yet. I fell asleep in a podcast multiple times with a couple of friends of mine. I don't know why. I just drifted off into the train tracks again. We're just riding off again, but I don't think I've ever fallen asleep doing a YouTube video. I don't think I have. I fall asleep at random. I could fall asleep standing up. My whole point that I was trying to get to is, why is the Super Nintendo trilogy of Star Wars games important to me? Did I play them as a kid? Did I have it as an adult? Where did this come from? I've always been a huge fan of Star Wars. I absolutely love the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6. For us who may not know out there, George Lucas decided to do sequels before actual first movies. So prequels were made. Episodes 1, 2, and 3 focused on the events before 4, 5, and 6. And then, of course, he no longer really had an attachment to the movies. I think he sold to Disney or something. Paraphrasing and kind of bounced around a lot of stuff. But after that, it was entirely somebody else in Disney, of course. So, why is it so interesting? I've never had a Super Nintendo when I was younger. I mentioned in many videos, or at least a few that I can remember, that I rented a Super Nintendo for about 10 years. I don't mean rented, I mean I borrowed it from a friend. Hey, can I borrow that? Yeah, man, I'm playing something else, no problem. Decade goes by, and this individual was very forgetful. I just kind of loved having it in the collection and just kind of forgot about it, just like looking at it and going, yeah, another game system. After a decade later, my buddy wanted to play something on it. I don't know if it was Super Mario or something. Hey, you still got my, the phone rings and, hey, you still got my Super Nintendo? Bullshit. I do. Did you want it back? I didn't do nothing to it. It wasn't one of those things where I maliciously forgot. I'm not a perfect person. If you never mentioned it, I probably would still have it. But I gave it back to him. It was all good. We had some fun playing some Super Mario Brothers and God knows what else we were playing at the time. And ended up losing, touch with that individual. But hopefully he's doing okay. Miss you, old friend. But that was my only real thing with the Super Nintendo. I ended up getting one much later in life. I had the NES, the Game Boy at one point, and I still have a Game Boy. I don't know if it's my original. I have one of the originals somewhere. I have no idea where I put it. And Super Nintendo came much, much later for me. I wanted to get a complete box. Never saw one that really made sense. The prices that ended up being, I probably should have pulled the trigger on it because they're ridiculous. But surprisingly enough, price for the Super Empire Strikes Back wasn't actually that bad, and it's not fully complete if you count the inserts and all this other crap. But as a manual, it's not color. I saw online that there was a color one. I don't think it's a Castlevania thing. I don't know if it was made. I don't know. I've seen them out there both colored and black and white. You let me know in the comments down below when we get to them, we unbox it or whatever. But I always wanted, I mean, how do I try to take you back to the moment where it really grabbed me? So I must have been going in a Walmart or a Kmart or something. I don't know. It might have been with my grandmother. Who knows? Might have been out and about. No, I think I probably would have been with her. And I went by the case. Walmarts have all these glass cases. Really cool looking back in the day. It was such an awesome thing to see the wall of cases. They have it now, but it's not the same. And I think that if you look at retro video game stores and then looking at what, the way that they're laid out, they're priced, I don't know. There's just something different. Maybe it's just nostalgia. It probably is. Nostalgia runs through my veins when I'm in here. But I remember I did have the Empire Strikes Back. I did have Star Wars on NES. But I never got a Super Nintendo. And I always just look at them and go, wow, those games look amazing. They are very different from one another. I think I might have beaten Star Wars. I never beat the Empire Strikes Back. And the Super ones are really hard. I haven't beaten those. But it's a good, fair challenge, I think. And there's, with a Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars, I don't know. It's just it's different. And I haven't played them in so long. I can't wait to throw those on for a Let's Play Some Video Games episode. I've been thinking about it for a while, but just haven't gotten around to it. But hey, listen, what are you gonna do? So I remember looking at those and going, wow, those covers just looked amazing, as I will be showing you at some point during this video. And what are you gonna do? I had to get it, and I finally nailed it. So that's why we are here today. Now let's get into our first, and sorry about all the squeakiness. I swear I'm not passing any flatulence. It happens to be the chair, and that will be a debate on whether we take this thing out, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just bouncing off the wall, but first game up is Star Wars for the NES. Now, why is this super important? Well, this is the first game I ever laid my eyes upon after watching the movies. And I think this came out, let me see here, because my eyes are extremely bad, and I usually, not bad, but just certain times, and I've looked at things too small. I probably need glasses at some point. Somebody else will debate on that, the wife. I think this came out, I want to say, in the late 80s, early 90s. I can't see a date. I can't see a year. So hopefully when we look at it a little bit closer, we get back to this. But and actually answer that question. But this game was different. I liked the Falcon asteroid field level. That was pretty cool. It took a while to get used to the controls of when you're on Tatooine in the little land speeder. Those controls are so awkward. Almost as awkward as Terminator 2 Judgment Day on the Sega Genesis. Now, why is that awkward? See any of those levels where you have to travel between levels. I like the game, and it's definitely a game I'm going to do a Let's Play on. Let's play some video games. Because, for whatever reason, I like it, and I should have every reason not to. But I guess that's just kind of me, and what are you going to do? But, again, falling way off the tracks here. This game had very weird controls. It was very slippery at a lot of the points in the game. A lot of the BS that kills you, that could drive you nuts, that we all know happens in a lot of these old games. But there was something special about this. And I remember that I still had the instruction manual on this, but the cardboard, like most cardboards when I was younger, I probably just threw it out, or it got ruined or flattened, and I was just like, didn't know anything about ironing, like, if I only knew now what I knew then, or I only knew then what I know now is what I meant to say. The first one would be true. Game's pretty good, you know, it's not the best, it's different. But it was the only thing we had for Star Wars at the time. I do appreciate it, and that's why I got it complete in box. I hunted this down because I absolutely love the series of Star Wars. I try to see the good in every installment, regardless of the general public's opinion about things. And believe you me, if there's anybody that is transparent, it is certainly this guy. Any of the gripes with the films, especially the later ones, the controversy of the special editions, the stuff added in, as opposed to not having the option to watch the theatrical on anything other than VHS. DVD, I think, might have had it. I can't remember. I think it might have been VHS, but let me know if you happen to know. I can just look past certain things, but understand, obviously, why people are pointing out the things that they don't like. And a lot of people are maybe nostalgic for this game, but when they play it, they're like, wow, this is not necessarily the best. But listen, there's a lot of great things with it. It is extremely difficult. I may not have gotten to the end of this. I may have gotten really close. I may have gotten Leia in the later stages. Oh, man, I am trying to think. I can't recall. So I'm going to say I haven't beat this because that's not fair to do to you and to not be transparent. So I'm going to say that I've probably gotten really close. I might have thought Game Genie might have worked, but that doesn't even work because if you hit certain levels after getting Leia, which is much later in the game, if you hit a pit, it's just going to kill you regardless. I don't believe there's any infinite lives. There's just infinite energy or something like that. I don't remember. Shields for the Millennium Falcon. But This is a really cool game. Interesting, definitely unique for its time. And it was the first introduction to Star Wars. So then, we got to keep this going, of course. The next installment would come, I believe. Let's see if I can see this one. Nope. Nope, not a clue. So either I've got to get a flashlight or I got to get glasses. But I can't see this. It is what it is. What are you going to do? The Empire Strikes Back. Very, very different from... I got to do that a little bit better. Let me do that a little bit better. Just so you can see it. And I removed all the plastic protective coverings on these. I do have them in there. Another fun fact, the NES games are actually more expensive than the Super Nintendo games. I wonder why that is. Is it because more of them are out there? I don't know. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of memories. Yep, it fell down, whatever. I'm not going to go through that again. I don't have any real memories other than maybe once or twice playing it somewhere of the Super Nintendo trilogy. But this game, I think, improved on a lot of things and then was very, very strange. So I do appreciate that they did try to do something different with it. I think the voices were a little bit more clearer. Again, this is, NES 8-bit. What are you going to do? You're going to get what you're going to get. Just like with Atari, with anything, right? So I like that when they're on the planet of Hoth, because this is pretty much where most of this will take place, and probably in others as well. Dagobah, and then of course Cloud City, near the end of the game. I'm trying to think here how to word this. So when you're going against the Imperial Walkers, and you have to attach the cable and wrap it around just like with in the movie, it's just awesome. I just absolutely love that. Do I have a Star Wars arcade? Or Star Wars? I don't think I have Star Wars for Atari. I didn't even bother looking. I don't believe I do. I think I saw it before, but I just didn't pull the trigger. But it doesn't matter. Again, just me thinking out loud. That was a cool part of the game. I like that, you get to use the lightsaber, and it seems like more of a better way than the first one. The jumping isn't as extreme and slippery as it was before, but you have to be very precise. And this is a extremely difficult game. I don't know if it's as hard as the other Star Wars games like the Super Trilogy or not. It's just different in its own way. I can remember how many times that I tried to save the, I can't think of the name of it, blasphemy, but the animal that, Luke and Han would end up getting when they're going through the snowstorm on Hoth. And I could not keep that thing alive. It kept falling in the, once it, obviously this is a plot point again, just like the other one is. This would, there's certain parts of it in the ice that you'd fall down and you'd freeze and, lose life, but the animal died pretty quickly and you weren't able to use it again. And then once you went against the big giant polar bear, which I think is the Wampa. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know, again, blasphemy, but it is what it is. What are you going to do? He was really difficult. I just really wish I could remember how far I've gotten in this game. It's a blank right now. I think I probably got to Dagobah, if I remember correctly. I believe so. But, cool game. Not certainly one that's well revered. Some people absolutely love it. A lot of people have different and mixed opinions on it. That's what's great about things like this. So, another great one for the collection. Again, really just a nostalgia piece. Now this game, I liked. This game was cool. I saw a lot of videos on this game. I got this game when it came out on the 32X. And that is a port of Star Wars Arcade. Now, how long did it take me to play this damn game? Well, it took over 20 years for me to play this. This has been in my collection since the mid-90s. Why did it take me so long? Well, the 32X that I originally got, which I really wish that I didn't. I got so irritated with it. I don't even think I donated it. I might have not. It might have been thrown around because I was so pissed this thing wouldn't work. It was such a silly thing. And again, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have YouTube back then. We didn't have. It's just kind of what you knew and figured out and trying to read the directions. Apparently, I'm not very good at reading directions sometimes. But I could not get that 32X to work. I would end up finding years later that I just simply was missing a piece that I just left in the box. And then I was trying to use another piece, which is used for the Model 1. And the plugs have to go in very specific places. That's all it was. It was really that simple. I ended up playing this, had a lot of fun with it. 32X isn't got a whole lot of nostalgia for me. It makes me angry thinking about it because of how simple it was, and maybe if I had just stopped and kind of sat back and thought about what was going on. But whatever happened, I was so angry. I think I was more angry that Night Trap didn't work on it. I don't know why. I'm a Night Trap guy. You've seen my collection of Night Trap nostalgia nonsense city over there. It's crazy. I love Night Trap. Good old F&Bs. You can't beat them with this ACD. But I don't have a lot of fond memories of this game, but when I played it, I finally got the 32X running. I had a lot of fun with it. I wasn't sure it was going to work, but some of these 32X games are definitely pricey. Excuse me. Some of them aren't too bad. There's just not a lot of 32X love out there. And I'm like, sometimes you find some, but the arcade game, really cool. I thought it was a great port. I've seen video of the actual arcade. Obviously, it's a lot different. The sound isn't going to be there, the sharpness of the quality of the picture, but it's still cool. And it's something that at least I've got in my Star Wars collection to go back to from time to time. And then I think we will do the Sega CD ones. Why not? Sega CD is kind of around that time, and the Super Nintendo was kind of around that time. So this one right here is my second copy of Star Wars Rebel Assault. I really, really, really enjoyed this game. I had a lot of fun with it. It was a pain to get used to. As I just sit here and try to look at the inside. My door was broken on my original one, and I think the disc was scratched. I loaned it to somebody, so I ended up having to get a replacement, which is very hard to do. But this game isn't super expensive. I thought it was really cool. I liked the full motion video, but it's not like the movie that I remember. It's just, actually it might just be CG, so it might be computer generated graphics. I don't know if it's full motion. Is it technically full motion video? I gotta just look at this real quick. I'm sorry. No idea. But it does have multiple levels from different parts of the trilogy, excuse me. My God, I am exhausted. Probably should have done this yesterday. I should have done it yesterday. No, I should have done it yesterday. It was off. But that's what I do here. So it does take from different parts of each game. I've gotten through a good portion of this. The soundtrack is amazing, and of course it has the great Star Wars theme. So I don't know how much I'd be able to actually show this game without worrying about when you know, and especially with things like that with music and crap like that. Maybe it'd be worth a try. It's slightly different, but I think it's close enough to get a knock at your door. What are you doing? Why are you using this? That kind of thing. You know where I'm going with that. But game was fun. I had a blast with it. It took me a while to get through the training stages. I do remember that. After that, it was a blast. I had some fun. I don't think I've ever beaten it, but I can't remember when exactly I got this. I remember when I got the Sega CD, it was in 93. Got my box, not that one that's behind me, but I can't remember. That's what's going to happen. Maybe I'll remember at some point in time. But awesome addition to the collection, of course. Couldn't have been more happy with it. Unfortunately, I had to get a second copy, but what you're going to do, it is what it is. And then, of course, you can't go without mentioning Star Wars chess. Why is Star Wars chess in my collection? One, it's a Star Wars game. Two, I like chess. I haven't played chess in a really long time. But I remember when I was in elementary school, I learned chess. And I had a lot of fun with it because it was a very strategic game and I had to really focus. Focus wasn't something that was really easy for me to achieve back then. As most people, it isn't. But something about the game of chess was just awesome. It still is to this day. I've got to get back into it and I've got to relearn how the game works. But maybe it's like a bike. Once you pick it up, you never forget. Although I was a little shaky on a bike the last time I rode one. Not a motorcycle, but an actual bicycle. So maybe that's not exactly true for all of us in every scenario. I don't have a lot of fond memories with this. I got this game much later. Mentioning that, I think I do have a PlayStation 1 game of Star Wars. It was a fighter. I can't remember if I do or not. If I had it, oh well. Probably do. I'll find it at some point. We'll make that a point when we're going through the PS1 collection and go, that's the one I missed. This is pretty cool. You could play it with 2 players, which is awesome. Had a nice, good, chunky booklet, as they always did back in the day. I even still have the foam that's supposed to protect the actual game in here. Don't know what it does. Maybe it prevents it from falling out, slipping out. But it's there. And it's Sega CD. And you can't go wrong with that. And this is MA13? Really? I've got to see why this is. Oh, that's right. And these other games, maybe it's because they're fighting on a chessboard. I don't know. I'm very shocked. I didn't think they were. I thought all Star Wars games were general audience, but apparently I'm completely wrong. But pretty cool stuff. Now, let's get to the meat and potatoes of what this video was. I mean, those are great games, but you're here to see me complete that collection, that trilogy. This is the only one that I have that's good. Looks like it's got most, if not all, of its inserts. Super Star Wars. Like I said, I don't have a lot of memories with this. I don't believe it was in the arcade. I'll tell you, when I've played this, a lot of fun. Platformer, but extremely challenging. Has a lot of great tunes in it. A lot of great sequences. You really can't go wrong. I probably played the first one the most out of all of them, but I've tried them all. I definitely got to give them their due just, for sure. And then, of course, we've got The Empire Strikes Back. The artwork on these games, I have to tell you, is awesome. Maybe that's why I really want, other than the fact of having it in the collection. I've only tried this a couple of times. I do know that you face Vader at the end, which is awesome. Like, of course, in the movie. Sorry if you haven't seen it, but it's been out long enough. I don't think a spoiler warning is needed. And if there was, shame on me. Didn't mean to ruin it for you. But, yeah, I just absolutely love the way that these games look. The controls are pretty good. It's just a very challenging platforming game. But it's Super Star Wars. The Empire Strikes Back. That just sounds so awkward. And then this one is Super Return of the Jedi. The picture does look a little awkward, but the box is authentic. As you can see, it's clearly been used plenty of times. And it's got that smell. Just a great way to end the series. I've seen a lot of videos on these just trying to figure out some strategies and things like that. I do believe in this one is, you know, you fight Vader as well, which is awesome. It's got a ton of levels in them. I think there's like 18, 19 levels in each one of these. This poster, just like the first one, I don't know if the second one has the poster from the actual movie. This one has the poster from the movie, and so does the first one, if I recall correctly. I don't know about the Empire Strikes Back. I think that's a little bit different. You could correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm really happy to have those in the collection. I'm glad that I could finally put those together. And I can't wait to actually play them, which is great. I've had them loose. And I've had the opportunities to play them. I just kind of just dabbled them in just a little bit, you know, Call of Duty or whatever else was grabbing my attention. But I can't wait to start jamming out to it. I can't lie to you. It's going to be fun. And I think it's going to make a great video as well to see how frustrated I can get with each one of those. I don't know if I'll pull out them all three of them. You know, I like to jump around. Maybe I'll do one the next video. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll do it in another 20 years. Maybe this won't be here anymore. I guess we won't know till we get there. Moving on. That sound is going to drive me nuts as it's going to drive me nuts. It's okay. I'm really comfortable. Star Wars Obi-Wan. I can't think of the other Star Wars game that I have that I thought I had, but I don't. Now I got to get it. This one right here, I might have played a long, long time ago. I was out hunting, I think, at the thrift, or I don't remember where I was. I was somewhere. Oh, I didn't have a booklet with this one. This isn't complete, but it's okay. I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to track down the booklet or at least find one. I think that I played this. I know that I played... What was it? Ah, man, I can't remember. Let's see if I can find it. I definitely played Revenge of the Sith. That was my favorite out of the prequels. Such an awesome movie. Whew. Seeing the downfall of Anakin and the rise of Vader is just something fierce. That movie hit differently. And I do like it. I like all the movies, but that movie, out of the three prequel movies, that was something different. I don't know much about this game. I haven't played it in such a long time. I do think I had a Shadows of the Empire. I don't remember if I do or not. No idea. I looked on my app, and of course it's gone, and I got aggravated, so I just kind of went through as many games as I could, but I'm pretty sure this is a majority of my Star Wars games. Again, just a quick thinking about putting something up. I guess in this game I should probably go over it, give me a few minutes to at least talk about it. You know, you kind of play as Obi-Wan. I don't know when it's between, in the weeks prior to the Trade Federation and the invasion of Naboo. So I think this is between 1 and 2, I want to say. I don't know, it's not, because I see Darth Maul. I guess this has to do with the first one. Or maybe some of it's in the first or the second, kind of like the Resident Evil 3 thing going on. I can't remember, but I remember playing this. It was a lot of fun. I grabbed it. Again, I'll have to try it at some point in time. And then we've got 2 GameCube games. I didn't get the first one, but I got the third and the second one, which is really weird. I don't know. Maybe I heard the first one wasn't that good. The second one I heard was the absolute best. And that is Star Wars Rebel Strike, Rogue Squadron. I have the right one out? I don't. That's what I was doing. Okay. I screwed that up. Take 2. Star Wars Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2. I'll track down the first one eventually. This game is awesome. I know a lot of people have done videos on it. Really great controls, great visuals, great, amazing sound. You know, I'm super huge on sound. And I had a lot of fun with this. I didn't get very far in it, but the stages that I did, it was just so much fun. I believe it takes stages out of a lot of the different movies. Not entirely sure. Can't remember. I'm doing a lot of that today. I guess my memory's gone. Hopefully not too bad, but what are you going to do? It's really late. Well, that was pretty cool. And now we'll go back to the other one that I just had. It's Star Wars Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron 3. I've only kind of put this on a little bit. This isn't as good as the second one, but, you know, it's still cool. It's a Star Wars game. Looks amazing, great. I do have this complete. Which is pretty cool. And I think the disc looks okay. I'm going to take a peek at it real quick. Just because I haven't looked at it in a while. You get some little tiny scratches on there. Hopefully it works. If not, I guess we're going to find out at some point in time. But, yeah. I didn't play a ton of it, so. But the last one that I have to show you, I did play a lot of, and I did end up beating, and that is Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Man, oh man, was this an awesome game. Still is. I had to find it again. I think I had it at one point. I got rid of it. I wish I didn't. And then I had it sealed for whatever reason. I found it at the thrift, I think, that way. Got rid of it. Because I just didn't have an interest in it. I didn't want to open it up. So I think I sold it or traded it in to get something else. I can't remember. I don't do that too often, but when I do, I do. It's probably on one of those day in the life of video game collector. But I do have this complete. And it's just a great game. I don't know if it's as visually good, in my opinion, as the GameCube one. But it's still great, and the sound's great, and it takes you through the story of the downfall of Anakin. And it brings you to that very pivotal moment. Which is why that movie is, I think it's the only one that was PG-13, is Revenge of the Sith. I could be wrong. Let me know if I am or not. But these games are great. They bring me a lot of joy. I have a lot of fun playing them. Some of them I just don't have a lot of memories with. I think the one I have the most memories with is obviously the first three I went over. So Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Then, of course, with the great Sega CD, the Rebel Assault. So Star Wars Rebel Assault. I've got to track down the one with Starkweather. I think that's his name. Starkweather. Wasn't that Manhunt director Starkweather? Maybe the Starkweather is the same name. I don't know. I'm getting confused. I know there's a Starkweather in Manhunt, which is I don't even know if we could even do a Let's Play some video games on that game. I do remember going to Orlando in 1993. I went there when I was really young. Can't remember, in the cart, probably about 2 or 3. In the early 80s. Early to mid 80s. Yeah, mid 80s. I'd probably say maybe 86, 87. I can't remember. But I can't remember that. Obviously, I just seen some pictures in it. I was just thinking about it when I cleaned out the garage the last time I saw some pictures. Man, that's... Disney looks different, for sure. I went there in 93. I'm pretty sure that there was Ghostbusters there. There was Turtles. Jaws, I think, was there. I think King Kong might have been there, or might have been there right after. Of course, there was a Star Wars section at Universal. I know there's a really big one there now. Completely different, but man, did that just hit you hard. It did. It was awesome. I remember how much fun I had during that trip. I went with my mom and my grandmother. Thank you for all the support and all the great conversations we've had over the last couple of videos that I've done. I know I haven't been very sporadic. This is the first time in a long time I've put another video up pretty quick. Gotta, pull the collar, even though I don't have a collar, pull the shirt up. I don't even think this thing anymore, but it's fine. I'm lost in translation, apparently. Great movie, by the way. But thank you very much. If you do like what you see, let me know. What is your memories with these games? Do you have any memories? Do you have any aspirations of completing or getting more Star Wars games? What frustrates you the most about them? There's tons of things that we could talk about in the comment section. As always in every video. Look forward to those comments and look forward to getting into some great conversations with you folks. But I've got to get to the next part because it's super important. 287. There's messed up. Don't judge. 287. Awesome. Amazing folks on the YouTube for the House of Fun and Video Games. Support. Come by. Like. Share. Comment. All that other happy horseshit. Plenty of different content on this channel. I do thrift time and finds where we go out to the thrift, find a bunch of shit, look at it, see if it's cool, see if it's nonsense, see how much I'm going to get yelled at. Yes, that does happen. We get eBay time and buys, where we go on eBay, buy a bunch of shit, look at it, have some fun with it, probably get yelled at. I haven't done that in a while. Not really after anything. I've looked at a few things, you know. There may be some things in the collection here. Maybe I need some of those color manuals. They could. I looked them up. They're not super expensive. Like, the games aren't super expensive. At least the Super Nintendo ones. The Genesis. The Nintendo ones are pretty expensive, though. They're in the hundreds range, I believe. Could not be. I don't remember. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. What else we got here? eBay time and buys revisited, which is definitely something that if I could remember exactly what I bought off eBay, I could go back and take a look at my previous eBay purchase, see if your boy here got duped. And then, of course, we've got Let's Play Some Video Games. That's pretty self-explanatory. We pop some games in. We have some fun. We rage. We have great times and great conversations, and a lot of people like those. A lot of people like those. I'm pretty happy to do because I'm playing games, not just talking about them. And then we got some movie reviews. Of course, we've got media reviews. I think it's what I titled it. Where we go in, take a look at some movies, have some fun with it, talk about them, why it's important to me, blah, blah, blah. Plenty more other content coming. I think that's pretty much it, though. Facebook at Jason's House of Fun and Video Games. That's where you could take the conversation even further. Here we could put comments in. On the Facebook, we can share the pictures and have some fun. I did have a Snapchat at one point. We don't really discuss it. I'm also on Twitter, Jason's House of Fun and Video Games. Again, not a lot of traction on there, not a lot of conversations, very few and far between. And mostly with, I don't even know if they're people, it's just weird. But TikTok, on the other hand, is something I wish I found a long time ago. I did not want to get into it, but now I'm having fun with it. That's another creative outlet for me. And I limit myself to 15 seconds. Remember 15 Minutes of Fame? That was a video I shot in 2020. How I eagerly so wanted the opportunity to share more minutes of my awesomeness talking about whatever nonsense I got in this room. I think I might put on some Super Star Wars. I'll see why not. What a great way to end the night. Oh shit, I cooked my dinner. I left it in the microwave. What are you gonna do? Take care, folks. We'll see you in the next one. Super Star Wars for the win!